if you've seen any of the other pieces of work that are on my channel, I think it's pretty clear that colors are a big part of my process. I kind of started out like everyone else, trying to figure out like this whole film emulation thing, so you hit the origin teals and then you find your LUTs and you end up going down this path and really trying to push the digital medium and digital cameras to this format to really kind of hone in on this sense that I think film just captures. And for me, it's been difficult, like trying to find it and trying to figure out how to properly, because it's not just the colors, it's also how to lay grain and how to encapsulate all these other factors. And so when Dehancer reached out to me and asked if I could review their products, I had to jump on it. Quick disclaimer, this video was made possible by Dehancer. They asked me to review their product. However, they're not going to see the video until it's out, just like you are. So I'm going to be very honest and truthful in what I'm saying here. Okay, back to the video. The term film look gets thrown around a lot nowadays, but what Dehancer essentially is, it's this all-in-one plugin that allows you to take a multitude of film scans and choose from whichever you feel fits best. Combine this with other elements of film like halation and bloom, as well as like really coveted film grain. Combine this all into one and really get this beautiful film emulation style on a digital camera. To me, this is super dope as it makes the process of getting a really realistic and beautiful film look super simple. For me, one of the biggest issues in trying to really get that realistic film look is film grain specifically. So if you ever look at grain in something actually shot on film, you'll see that it affects the darks and the lights differently. You'll see different amount of grain in the darks versus the lights. However, like if you just take, a film grain overlay download from the internet and just throw it on your footage, it's not gonna look like that. There are things you can do to try and get around that, but Dehancer does that for you, and it does it in a more realistic way than I could ever even think about doing. Dehancer does such a great job of getting that grain down, and that's been the biggest thing for me. And like now you just include the halation, the bloom on top of like the multitude of different film scans you have available, and you kind of have this all-in-one like super amazing emulation tool. What's also helpful is that Dehancer gives you the option to fine-tune what's basically being applied to your footage depending on the picture profile you shot it on. So sometimes I work in S-Log3, sometimes I'm just working in Rec 709, sometimes I'm working in S-Log2. I have the ability to basically input that in, let Dehancer know, and then basically they'll give me a different output depending on what I'm telling them. Super cool, super interesting, and super helpful. For my work so far, I can only say great things about what it's able to do and how flexible it is. However, I think the main downside there is, and if you've seen the website, I think you know what's coming, is the cost. For their all-encompassing Pro plugin, it costs $449. Now, that is a lifetime buy, but that's still a lot of money, absolutely. And it might not be practical for everyone. Honestly, it might not be practical for a lot of people in the earlier stages of their career. Dehancer does also offer a light version of the Pro plugin, which keeps some of their key elements like the film scans and the film grain, but takes away some of the other ones. You can also buy individual plugins like for specifically just film grain, just halation, just bloom for $99 each. I personally wouldn't recommend that because I feel like you're gonna get more for less with the light version or with the Pro version, but to each their own. Also, shameless plug, if you are interested in buying Dehancer and want to save a bit of extra money, use my discount code IWONGWA at checkout for 10% off. Taking all this into consideration, would I recommend Dehancer for absolutely everyone? Probably not. I think if you're just starting out, or if you're at the part of your career where you're really in depth and you know exactly what you're doing with your color grading, you might not need it. However, I think for the vast majority of us who are still in that middle period, in that middle ground, where we're still trying to get better, but still trying to get that really nice film look and we know exactly what we want, Dehancer is such a great tool at getting there. I think the main thing is whether or not it's financially feasible. If you're not at the point where filmmaking is your main source of income, it's a lot to ask to invest $449 or $199 into a color grading tool. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to me yap for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I don't know how long this is. Also, thank you for Dehancer for reaching out. That's about it. Wow.